Hey, it's me, Seay, and I am back with another video for you. And at the time that I'm recording in this, we are nearing the end of the summer, and it's all systems go in preparation for the new school year. In fact, some families have already started school, which I think is pretty incredible. It's the beginning of August, and some of their children are already back in school. But in our household, we're still in planning mode and preparing mode. And I wanted to share one of the things that I do, which is I purchase a new calendar, a new planner. And I want to share with you how I choose that planner, and then 5 things that I do to set my planner up to get ready for our next upcoming year. So I have been on a real journey as far as the planner experience has gone for me. I am one that always seems to get suckered into these new, beautiful, gorgeous planners that people are creating. And I have tried several of them, spent lots of money on them. And the truth is, what really works for me is the basic calendar planner that I started with years ago that you could pick up in an office supply store or any of the super center stores. And it's by the company called BlueSky. And it's these simple calendar planners that's not very thick, not very, fancy at all, but they get the job done. And I have tried to go digital. In fact, I talk extensively about how some of the tools that I've tried and some of the tools some of the other moms in our community have tried, and I have that over on my website, and you can check out that whole conversation that we had, which is like an hour-long conversation about planners and calendars. So if you're like all into that, definitely check that out. But for me, this year, this is the actual one. You can see it says 2017, 2018. Just purchased it yesterday. And it is by BlueSky again, but this particular one is designed by Whitney English. And she has created her own brand of designers, the Day Designer, and they did a collaboration. And I love that because I get to win. Like, I didn't have to buy her separate Day Designer. I could just buy the BlueSky version of her Day Designer, which had some key points in it that were absolute wins for me, and this caused me to say sold, put it in the cart, like, let's check out, this is my one for the year. So I love that she starts out in the beginning of this planner with some basic things, right? She says, like, create an overall vision for what you want for your year, get a big picture of it. That's big for me. And then she says set some goals, and she has goals in key areas of which totally line up with the things that I share with you all here in our community. And then she says design your day and then stay on course. So she's got these prep pages in the beginning, 1 page each for those, nothing overly complicated or anything that's not doable, that you could take your time and get it done. Then it has, I choose the 1 month view. My planner is the weekly, monthly view. I cannot do the daily. It tends to make those really, really thick. And I like this to be portable, that I can toss in my purse or in my intentional mom bag and have it with me at all times so that I can make use of it. And it truly is my brain on paper as far as some details that I want to make sure I don't forget. And the weekly, monthly works well for me. So on the monthly spread, when I'm looking at the days of the month there, for me, I only make small notes because I already got a small box. So if I have a 2:30 dentist appointment, that goes on there. But when I turn to the actual day of the appointment, that's where I would put the details of what information I need to bring, the address of the dentist if we're going to a new dentist this time, who the appointment is for, how many children or how many members of the family are actually seeing the dentist that day. All of that will go down on the actual day. But on the calendar, it's just 2:30 dentist is all that I would put on there, and just little notations like that. So I chose this particular planner this year because she has a question that she asks at the top of every single day. And it's the question that my husband and I ask almost every morning of one another. And that is simply this: what is today's top 3? What are your today's top 3? And she's got that right there on the top of the page. Can you see that? So each day she's asking me here in my planner, what are today's top 3 things? What are the 3 things that if you get these things accomplished, you can say today's a win? All good. Like, these are the things that are going to get my attention. These are the top priorities for me today. And then this one goes into a schedule, which is great because this year in particular, I really need to do some time blocking. And I'm actually in an accountability group where we're really working on time blocking. And so to have this time set in front of me every day will really help me to be clear that I'm working on the right things at the right time in my day. And I know that I'm honoring what I've said I really want. And that is how I want to get through my day, clearly living into my priorities and clearly serving my family in the best way. And then at the end of the day, it's just got this block where it says tonight, and I'm covering up just where I was testing different pens to see what color pen I wanted because the month of July is gone, right? We're in August, so I don't even need this one, so I could test and mark that up. Now, let's get into how I set my planner up once I get it. I start, and the first thing that I do is I start with the children's birthdays, and I put everybody's birthday on the calendar, and I put all of the family birthdays, my husband and myself included, and our anniversary on the calendar. That's the first thing that goes on every single calendar I get is birthdays. Then from there, I move into any known dates for the family. So if I know that I have a speaking engagement in another city, that's going to go on the calendar because that's already set. If I know that my children, I've got, 2 in university this year and 1 at community college. So I know they already know what days their college will start and their semester will start and their semester will end, when our finals. Those things are going to go on my calendar. For us here in the house, when does homeschool start? What is that start date for our homeschool? We're in the season right now where our schedule at homeschool follows the flow of our university students. So that way, when they're off, we can be off and actually bond with them and connect with them and not feel like we're missing them because they're coming in at a time when we're still doing school. We just choose to organize our schedule in the same way as them. Then I put down any known activities that are outside of our family, that are away from the home. So if anybody's involved in any groups, any kind of sport groups or outside activities, I want to make sure I put those on the calendar so they're known. Like, some of my children are becoming more and more involved in the church youth group. And the church youth group meets on certain days. So let's go ahead and get those on the calendar because we want to make those a priority to make sure that we're available and nothing else gets scheduled on top of those. Then from there, I move into anything that is for me. I want to make sure that I get those days on the calendar. Mamas, let's please make sure we get those days on the calendar. I have some dear friends that we meet once a month. We meet on first Friday every single month. And that goes on my calendar. It is blocked, it is tackled, it is settled. Barring something pretty, unusual, some kind of emergency, nothing moves on my first Friday as far as involving me. Anyone else can schedule it, and I guess that means that there'll be a sibling that drives them, or my husband gets involved and handles it. But if it involves me, they know first Friday is a non-negotiable. Don't touch it. That is my soul care. It's when I get together with my girlfriends and I laugh the hardest and the loudest that I do all month, and I get to share and we get to cry together and we get to pray together. It's just our time. So we don't touch that unless it's an emergency. I mean, we're mamas, we get it. Like, stuff happens, but it's very rare. It's very rare. So that goes on my calendar because it's very important to have self-care, right? Remember, my definition for self-care is loving and serving yourself in the same way that you do for others. And we love and serve our families and friends and communities and churches and work associates and everybody so well. Let's do the same in taking care of and loving and serving the needs that we have as well. So for me, getting together with friends, as much as I want to make that happen for my children, I want to make it happen for me too. And the only way I can do it is to put it on the calendar and let them know this is important to me. Also, I look for busy seasons, right? There's guaranteed busy seasons in each one of our lives. So if the start of the school year is a busy season for you, then be sure to put in some self-care days on your calendar. Some days that even if you don't plan to go do an activity, you know that that's your day, right? And maybe you just want to nap, or maybe you just want to Netflix binge, or whatever you want to do, but trust it won't happen if you don't put it on the calendar. So just block those days off. You're like, this day, my day, chilling, not going anywhere, not grabbing keys, not having to worry about showering and doing my hair. I don't want to have to worry about putting on clothes that match or anything. I just want to have a day. Or maybe your my day looks like I'm getting dressed, putting on my favorite stuff, and I'm out of here, and I'll see everybody when I get back. I'm going to take myself out to the park and go for a walk. I'm going to go visit a friend and just sit on her couch for hours, or just for 2 hours, or for 30 minutes, or whatever it is you can do based on the season of life that you're in. Please don't get into comparison of, oh, I wish I could have a day. Remember, each one of us have to do what works for our lives in the season that we're in. I just want to set out the parameters to say, make sure you put those on the calendar, whatever calendar resource you use, whether print or digital, to give yourself the time. And then the last, I want to make sure that because I am married, I want to make sure that my marriage is on my calendar. So are we having time where we can set aside that the two of us can connect? Whether that's a date night, or whether that's a weekend getaway, or whether that's just ensuring that every Friday night at 8 p.m. beyond, that's our time. So we're going to make sure that the kids are set and settled and on the calendar. I can guarantee Friday night, that's a standing time for us, or Tuesday night, that's a standing night, whatever that looks like for you. Those are the things that I do when I set up my calendar. I put all of that on there, and then beyond that, anything that comes up that's truly an appointment goes on the calendar, and then I keep a separate place in a tool that I use where I keep all the other things that are just like, I want to get to those eventually, but they don't have a date and a time attached. I will put those on a separate list so that I can go back and visit those. I want to know what resources you use. What calendar do you use? I'm still curious, because I mean, you ladies know some of the most fascinating resources that I haven't even come across. I mean, you could pick up this calendar that I have here in Target. This is where I got mine. And that's where I am. But you guys might know some stuff online that you're like, hey, I use this. If you use apps, be sure and share them. Come on over to the Intentional Mom Facebook group where we have conversations on these topics, and share your favorite calendars, your favorite planners, your favorite apps, your favorite online resources. All of those are welcome in the conversation, because we're all wanting to be intentional and good stewards over our time. And we want to be able to have a system that works for each one of us, that doesn't allow our brains to just go chaotic, right? And we're just like overwhelmed. Instead, we want to be in a place where we're able to love our families, serve our families, and enjoy the life we've been given. So I hope this was helpful for you. I look forward to hearing what resources you use. And until next time, bye for now.